Well, let me ask you about that though, a little bit in the, how important it is, because you could get caught up in the life. I mean, because you got some money if you're a big league ball player, you're on the road, all these things.
Mm-hmm.
To have somebody that solid at home, this is your chance to kiss up to your wife on television.
Okay,
on the
nice.
internet too.
I need those opportunities.
But to have somebody that not only is solid, but kind of gives you a reason to look forward to going home, or to seeing that you've got your life together pretty good.
It's huge. I mean, not only during the season, but the off season. I got 4 solid months with that person, and I mean, it's a long time, and over a long season at the end of the year, you want to get back home and enjoy it. Yeah. And marriage, a lot of, let's not say a lot, but some men I've run across, they're not happy. They might have made the wrong decision. We dated for a long time. We had an opportunity to really know each other and lived with each other for a year or 2 before we got married. So, I knew what I was getting myself into. And in this case, and in our marriage, I'm very happy. And it's just nice to know that if I go 0 for 4 and I get back home, she's not going to be like, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" Yeah. She doesn't care about that. She's supportive, and it's just really nice.
Well, let me ask you about that. Where it's, did she know what she was getting into when this all started? Because it's, it's fun, it's exciting, dating a baseball player in high school and all the way through that. But there are ups and downs and travels that are not exactly glamorous along the way. When did she kind of get it and help you with that too, knowing she had a lot to put up with?
That's a really good question. I'd like to start out with saying that we kind of both didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. You kind of come up as a young player in high school or college, and you're like, oh man, I just want to get drafted and be so happy, and it's just really not like that in the minor leagues. Yeah. And you're grinding, you're truly grinding. My first year, I was making $350 every 2 weeks, which I did the math, and I was making roughly $2 an hour. And I think that'll end up changing after there's been like a lawsuit and stuff. The minor league wage hasn't moved up for 30 years.
Right.
So as things have kind of inflated, that really hasn't. So yeah. that was tough. And it's tough on a majority of the guys because they don't get that big signing bonus, and they don't have that ability financially to be comfortable and have an apartment and do all that. So that was tough, and it was tough on both of us. I mean, just that stress of worrying about, hey, I got to find a place to live for this amount of time, and then it's like, oh, well, these places aren't an option, and then you're left with, not the best places to live. But the travel was tough. 8-hour bus rides, all that, and it's not like you could talk on the phone when there's a bunch of screaming and music and stuff like that. So the communication was hard. We both didn't expect it, and I think that early on, she was going to school and stuff. So when she was in school, it was the off season for the most part, and when she was out of school, it was during the season. So we really didn't have time where we were both off to spend together, and that was probably the biggest challenge, was not having a consistent amount of time to be with each other and to just understanding on a daily basis like what this person's dealing with, being there with them to be a part of it was tough. You just don't find that in most relationships. Usually, if they both work, they're coming back to the same place and sleeping at the same house, and we just didn't have that. So that was tough. But after she got out of college, it was a little easier, and I think that's where she really learned what the life might look like in the big leagues. And she didn't really like it. I'm gonna be honest, she didn't really like it. She likes to work. She likes to be busy and do things, and she didn't like the just hanging out at home for most of the day and then going to the game for a few hours, and we get back and we're tired and we just want to go to bed, and she'd want to talk and spend time with me, and it was tough. It was tough on both of us, but I think it was really tough on her to kind of find something to do in those down times. And when I first got called up to the big leagues, she came up. She was with me in AAA, and she was just like not having it, like just super bored, super just like, oh man, I don't know if I want this. And I was like, I really need you. I need you here with me. And I mean, this is new for me. This is a new experience for me in my baseball career, and I want to share it with you. And we ended up working through that. She ended up getting a part-time job the next year at a law firm in Brookfield. She's a receptionist, and she loves it. It's a part-time deal where she can kind of be like, hey, they're home at this time, but when we go on the road, she works there almost every day. So it's a good way for her to stay busy and ultimately feel like she's actually, doing something in life. When she's just sitting at home and not working, she feels like she's just not doing what she can, and that's big. And I think a lot of the wives, that's what happens. Just they're very smart women, most of them, and they're so used to excelling in school, and then that ends, and it's like, what do I do? So a lot of them have like side stuff that they do, and it's pretty impressive that. Some of them might even make more money than us. So, it's been a process, and now we have the dog, so that helps when I'm away. He keeps her busy, but it's been tough for a while. But now the more you do things, the more you are in the same place for a longer time. You get used to things and kind of what you need to do to just be happy. And every day I feel like we get better at that. And obviously we got a few weeks left here. We get to go back home, and it's our second year at our second off season at our house. So life's good. I think it'll continue to get better. But when you first get called up, and when you first get into pro ball in general, it's not as easy as people think.
Scooter's a good name for a dog. Is the dog named Ryan or anything like that?
No.
What'd you go with?
Leo. Leo. And he is a Leo.
He is a Leo. Oh,
yeah,
good.
He's August 24th birthday.
Go.
So.
But I mean, it's and not to harp on it too much, but there are obvious reasons you're drawn to your wife. She's very beautiful. She's very talented. She's very funny and fun to be with. Mm-hmm. Was there a moment you're like, wow, she's here for the long haul? Like she maybe helped you handle something that you weren't ready to handle? Like was there something in your career maybe that, wow, she's got me and she's the reason I'm going to make it kind of feel?
Yeah, I think that there's a bunch of examples. The big one is she just doesn't. My performance on the field doesn't affect her at all. It doesn't affect our relationship really. If it does, it's because of me. I might not be in the best mood because I might have lost the game for us or whatever. Or, vice versa, I might have won the game and I'm super excited and she's just the same and like why are you so happy? So, and I like that. It's kind of weird at times, but that consistency is big for me. I would say that's probably the thing that drew me or attracted me the most about her was just not really caring too much about baseball, because that's one half of my life, and if that isn't going well and she did care a lot, then it would affect the other half, which is her. So that was a big deal. She's just really cool. Like everybody that I talk to, all the some of the guys that they go to the game, they're sitting in the friends or family section, and they're just like, man, like your wife's like a cool like person. Like I could like go out and like just have a drink with her, and like she'd be like one of my friends, which is nice to know that other people like your spouse is cool. It's it would be concerning if I was hearing things like, oh man, your wife's just so annoying, or your wife's just this or that. Like maybe what she's hearing about me, I don't know. But I'm definitely lucky to have somebody that is liked by others, and ultimately that rubs off on me too. I mean, she's helped me in many ways. I think not only with my faith, she's also helped me just get past some things that I needed to get through in my life when it comes to just cleaning up my life. I mean, it's been truly amazing. She's been a big part of my growth as a man, and I got a lot more growing to do. And she's a big piece of that. And I'm very lucky to have someone that's, one, doesn't care too much if I go 0 for 4. Two, a person that other people enjoy being around. And three, someone that really shares the same interests, the same faith as me is a big one too. So yeah, it's she's definitely won me over, and I can truly say that she's someone that I want to be with for the rest of my life, and it's just nice because not everybody's in that situation. And if I could give any advice, if someone's like, man, I don't know if this person's nice, like people don't like this person, like maybe that's not somebody you want to spend the rest of your life with, because you might end up kind of turning into that.
I think you're going to want to send a link of this interview to your in-laws. You're going to get fantastic Christmas presents this year from them based on this interview.
Yeah, let's hope.
We'll actually talk a little baseball here, because you look at the schedule, what's left.
Uh-huh.
And do you point at now, because the Cardinal series that's coming and the Ranger series probably going to mean a lot down the stretch. The Cubs series probably means less in terms of the big picture, just because of how they've been. Do you point at those as something to really look forward to? I know you're a day-to-day guy, and the team has to be day-to-day, but to have those to point at, like, you know what, we could be the ones that make a difference in the wild card, and who's going to make it?
I think it's fun. I mean, obviously we're out of the wild card by a little bit. I was looking at the Pirates were 2.5 the first day we got in there, and I was looking, and they were like, I want to say like 10 games. Like if we just would have won 10 games and lost 10 games less, we would have the same record. Yeah. So I'm sitting there thinking, if we go like undefeated for this month, like we have a chance. So, and that's just kind of cool to show up and be like, if we just like won every game, like we could do this. But in all, that only one team has won over 20 games in a row. So all in all, it's like kind of, not something that we're like, oh man, we got a chance at this. But it's fun though. We're playing teams that are in the hunt, are wanting to sweep us, and we can. You don't ever want to be like that team that's in the position to be the spoilers, but it can be fun sometimes. Especially there's certain teams that you like more than other teams. So if you can maybe not make it easy for them to make the playoffs, then it could be fun. It could be interesting, and also too, I mean, we want to finish strong. We want to be a team that when we come into town, people, they don't want to play us, and I think we kind of already have that. When you look at our record, it's like, oh, nice, like we have a good chance to win 2 out of 3. But then they see it's the Brewers. It's like it's not going to be easy. Other than yesterday's game, the past few weeks, it's all of our losses have been by like 1 or 2 runs. Yep. We've had chances in all those games. Personally, I'm finally at a situation kind of like what we were talking about before. I want to get back to what I was doing earlier in the year, and I'm there, hitting balls hard. Maybe not getting the best results, but that's inevitable. That'll happen. With enough plate appearances or at bats. But I mean, I could have stepped up in a lot of those games and maybe made a difference. We all have an opportunity to affect the game and the outcome. And like I said, we've been playing good baseball. It's not going to be an easy win when we come into town. And I think teams know that, and we kind of just want to leave that in their mind going into the offseason of next year, that we're not a team that's just like, hey, we're in a rebuilding phase. We're just going to roll over, and it's going to be an easy, series for you guys. That's something that's in our control now, and it's something that it's like a respect factor in the game. You don't want to be that team that everybody like, oh yeah, man, like they're coming into town, it's going to be easy. Or like, oh, other people like, oh, they're facing the Brewers, like that's why that guy had a good game. Like it's not the team you want to be, and that's not the team that we are. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of other teams that, I mean, it's you got the Cubs who are pretty much already in, obviously, but there's some teams that are battling, and we're not in that mix, but we can affect that outcome, and we just don't want to make it easy on anybody. We want to battle and win as many games as we can, and go into the off season happy for, you know, kind of the growth that we've made throughout the season, and maybe have some confidence going into spring training next year, and ultimately that's all we can do.
And there are some people, because of where you are in the process, are thinking, oh, we should tank some games because we want a better draft pick, and baseball's so different anyway in terms of that. But is that kind of offensive to a player to hear, you know, if they just would write it off, maybe it'd be better for the organization as a whole? I don't think, you don't seem like a guy that's a tanker.
No. I mean, I haven't even, that might be the first time I've heard of that, but I mean, that's almost like losing on purpose, which is like, it's like betting on the game to me. You know, you just can't do that. That's not an option. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice, I guess, to get a top pick or whatever, but I mean, that affects maybe a few years down the road at the earliest, so I just probably wouldn't be worth it in my mind to look at the end of the season and be like, oh, you know, I'm kind of glad we lost that many games, you know, because we get a better player. It just doesn't really make sense. But, you know, hey, if we get a first, second, third pick, then I guess that's a good thing. But that also means that you weren't a good team, and no one wants to be known as a team that wasn't good. But yeah, I think that as a fan, you know, maybe that wouldn't be the worst thing ever since your team's already out, but as a player, it's just not an option.
Yeah. And finally, who keeps it fun here? Like, is there somebody that's just a doofus or a goofball or something that, like, because again, you got to be so hyper focused a lot of the time, but when you're in the clubhouse and it's like, oh man, this is getting old, but that guy's here today, he's gonna make it fun.
I mean, I feel like if you ask some of the guys on the team, they'd probably choose me. I think it's important, especially when, you know, things aren't going great, wins and losses wise, to keep things loose and to show up and try to, you know, be a light in maybe a darker place, and that's big. There are guys. There's a few guys that just are happy to be here. That's the biggest thing. Like, enjoying what you're doing, enjoying showing up to work is huge. It affects a lot. I mean, just that attitude is contagious. You know, any workplace, any business that is trying to have success in the long run is going to have those people in that environment, in that workplace. They're going to have those positive people, those people that keep things loose, that make a joke when it's the right time to make a joke. You know, there's a time and a place to work hard and to also, you know, keep things loose. And, you know, that's where, I mean, if someone's having a bad day, to maybe, you know, hey, like, I'll just look kind of stupid right here, but if I could make that person laugh or just maybe get their mind off of whatever's going on, to me, that's my job as a teammate. You know, but I've grown a lot in the past few years. I can't say with confidence that I was a guy that made all the jokes and made people laugh at the right time early in my career. I kind of had to get that feel, and now that I have that now, it's nice because you know, this is a tough game at times, and everybody. I mean, there's a lot of guys in this clubhouse, probably more than other teams, that, I mean, what they do that day means a lot when it comes to where they might be next year, maybe the next day. So I mean, that pressure, that dealing with that isn't easy. So to get their mind off of that for a little bit is a big deal. It's worth a lot, and I have a pretty good ability to pick up on that stuff. And now having the feel that I have now, and it'll continue to get better. It's nice because I can make a difference there, and it might not affect the whole team, but it might help that person out and help them out, maybe just for that day, and that's our job. I mean, to me, that's my job as a man, as a human, as a believer, to be there for somebody if they need some help, and we got guys on the team that do that well. I think that's a job as a teammate. If you're a good teammate, you're not just worried about yourself, and you're not solely focused on yourself. You're doing your job to the best of your ability, but you're also there for others. And we got guys on the team that do that, and usually those are the guys that stay, the guys that stick.
So you're getting a lot less shut up Scooter these days then?
Yeah, a lot less.
Yeah.